Hey everybody, guess where I am? I'm back home. I they let me go this afternoon. I didn't have to discharge myself. Um, I was brought home in an ambulance, and my son and his partner were here to welcome me back and make me something to eat and drink and pamper me. And now they've gone, and I've told them to have a good night's rest and not to worry, I'm fine. I'm going to have to sleep in the chair though. I've got my blankets and my pom-poms and my fluffy house coat, so I'm absolutely fine. Can't lift my left leg, and in the ambulance they wouldn't bring the Zimmer and the accompaniments to that, the basket and the leg lifting. So what they did, the hospital, they sent me in a taxi and everything arrived apart from the leg lift, which is what I need to strengthen this left leg or, attempt to get it going. So what I'm using is this. It's a belt off some trousers of mine, and it's quite strong and it's quite stretchy. And what I do is put it under the sole of my foot, my left foot, and what I do then is pull it up with both hands, and do that 10 times, and it's strengthening that muscle. So all in all, I'm doing my own physio at home because they did nothing apart from walking me across the ward, and that was pointless. Very disappointed. I was told that it would be 2 weeks in hospital post-op, which is today. I've been 3 weeks altogether. I've been in hospital, 2 weeks post-op, and then 2 weeks rehabilitation. I was offered a bed at a different hospital for rehab, but it would have meant my kids, going all the way the other side of Birmingham and then coming all the way back to go and see their dad, and it just wouldn't have been fair on them. In retrospect, I think it might have been a good idea for me to have done that, to have gone. I was in the ambulance, and there was a gentleman in the ambulance, and he'd had a stroke, and he'd been in hospital for 6 weeks. He first week he was out of it, he didn't know anything, and then they're there for another 5 weeks recovering from this stroke. And he has gone to the hospital where I was offered a bed for rehab, and he was saying how grateful he was to have got this bed, and I'm thinking, and there's me saying, oh no, I can't, because it's going to be too much for my children and too much for, if I'm going to see their dad. Excuse me a sec. I'm drinking tea. I've got this, look at this tea. Look at this. Kids have left me a big flask of tea. And fruit and everything on the table here, which will see me through to tomorrow till my grandson will be here tomorrow. Where was I? Oh yeah, this gentleman, and we were chatting, and both came to the conclusion that it was probably stress that brought his stroke on. He is an investment banker, and dabbling in other things as well, and the lifestyle caught up with him, and he had this stroke quite out of the blue. So, but he was quite a religious man, and he asked me whether I was a God-fearing woman, and I said, no, I'm not God-fearing. Why would I fear? our Father. Whatever persuasion you are, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe in the sanctity of the universe, which I do, all of that, you know, you don't need to discuss it in depth with anybody you don't really know, but why would I fear? For example, for argument's sake, a being, an all-knowing being who has my best interests at heart, even when those best interests are best served by me learning some sharp, quite painful lessons at times. So no, I'm not God-fearing. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. And the phone call's just coming through, excuse me. So even the bad things that happen to us in life, I believe, happen for a reason. Very hard to find that reason though, isn't it, when you're actually going through the trauma. I'll have another little dig. Amy Ramadan. Every darn time I click on, excuse me, I've got to take this call. Sorry, my children, making sure Mummy's okay, and yes I am. Yeah, every time I've sort of logged on to YouTube, there is Amy Ramadan. And of course, some of them I watch, and it's the same old every time. So she's gained in a day £19, but she thinks it's water weight. God, that's lots of buckets of water, isn't it? Lots of buckets. Can't even begin to imagine how that poor woman must be suffering. Not least because she weighs 5 times my weight. Imagine carrying that around. And something I've noticed as well in one of her videos, or 2 of her videos, 3 of her videos, is how much that elder child, Maya, is, he seems to have gone into himself, completely introverted, and very sad, very morose. It's not natural. I've seen him like shaking, rocking. It's not the natural way, and I think perhaps that child needs to see a doctor and be diagnosed with whatever malady he most certainly is suffering from. Of course, with parents such as Ms. Amy and Mr. Ali, who are more intent on watching their own children than caring for the eldest child, who seems to be a gopher and a houseboy. You know what I mean by a houseboy. I used to have one coming twice a week when I worked in Saudi just to do the house from top to bottom. A houseboy. And I'm sure that Maya does more than his share of housework and babysitting. It isn't right. It isn't acceptable. And all that woman is coming on here intent on moaning and complaining about every ache and pain. Also noticed she goes over to a YouTube channel where the man as I've said before in another video, is there in a bikini, a man, big bulbous breasts, with like a little triangle on each nipple. That's not the way of a devout woman. That's not the way of a devout Muslim woman, a devout anybody. That's not the way of a mother of 3 young children to behave. What would Ollie, your husband, what would his friends say, I wonder, if they knew the sort of chat rooms his wife was frequenting night after night after night, when she's sitting on her sofa in the living room, sweating profusely and getting excited by talk that quite honestly is base, tasteless, and soft porn in my eyes. Ms. Ramadan needs to get a life, and that life should be centred upon those 3 children. I doubt that anything I say is going to have any effect whatsoever. But occasionally, just occasionally, I need to get things off my chest. And now I've done so. Right, I'm off to watch Netflix. I'm watching something about the new Sultan, Constantinople, and until I fall asleep. And hopefully I'll be back sometime tomorrow. Have a lovely evening, everybody. God bless, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.